When I recently relocated to Kansas City from Iowa this year, one of the first things I did was join the local outdoor Facebook groups. While being a neighboring state, I immediately saw a different culture and an underlying repeated conversation happening. Many of the people seemed to be very skeptical of the game wardens and the Missouri Department of Conservation in general. Over and over, outspoken individuals were upset with the way feral hogs were being managed in the state, particularly that the state and federal hunting grounds were shut down completely to hog hunting. The MDC wanted a season to trap the hogs with little to no hunting pressure, and that seemed to ruffle some feathers by those who enjoy hog hunting and are extremely proficient at the task, taking down hundreds of hogs in a weekend. So I set out to see what the current debate was all about. For a long time, I had wanted to hunt wild pigs. While living in Spain, I enjoyed free-ranging hogs that ate acorns and forbs. These pigs are known across the world for their deliciousness.
So why did you tell these people who you are, or,
Okay.
or whatever?
What's going on? Cody Richards. I own Waterfowl Outlaws. We do hunting, fishing. We sell gear as well. Today we're out here in Houston, Texas. Going to try to kill some pigs or coyotes, whatever we can get to come in. We're going to be doing thermal image hunting.
I should probably explain where we're at.
So this is our ride.
Well, let's do it.
We met Cody through a friend. He manages the wild game that is on this cemetery in downtown Houston. It's right by the airport, and he uses an AR-15 with thermal imaging to hunt these wild pigs to keep them from digging at people's graves, essentially.
I'm hoping they're going to come out tonight with that rain. They were pushed down last night, so ground should be moist enough they can root it pretty easy.
So you said they put bait out?
Yeah, so I put bait out yesterday afternoon. I had some soured corn that I soured with beer, and I put it out. And there's
That usually brings them out?
Yeah, so different mixes brings them out. You can use, a lot of people use Big Red in corn. Some people just use straight corn. Some people mix corn and water to make sour corn. And then if you have beer, you have, sour beard corn, if you will. And so that's what we did. And we also have I had some old feed cubes for cows that was starting to sour, so I threw that in the mix as well. If you hunt like right after a good rain, it tends to be good. Or you hunt the cold fronts and everything else that, because with the cold fronts, it'll, if it's cold enough and windy enough, the pigs will bed down, so you should normally get them on the calm day the next day. So
He drives us around in a golf cart, and we're going to go check his traps and watch and see what happens. First, Cody took us to a plot to show us exactly what the pigs do when they dig up somebody's grave. While lights flashed in the background from a security vehicle or a cop, we arrived upon this gravesite, and I can't imagine seeing this visiting my family.
now imagine if you had a loved one here and you came and it was like that. You still even have it on, or?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
You're good. I was just filming you, telling me about it.
First, Cody shows us how the AR-15 works and how the thermal imaging worked as well. It's definitely not something I had experienced before and was a new way of seeing the world. It's completely dark out and you can see shapes of anything that has a heat signature, which could be animals or it could be a pile of mulch. But everything that gives off heat shows up as a white blob. Since the sun had gone down, we decided to check one of the traps that Cody had baited the night before. And it was empty, but I can't say it wasn't exciting walking up to it for the first time, thinking that there might be something in there. I've never seen a wild pig in the flesh quite yet at this point, so it was still all very exciting. When you first start hunting, something that isn't really apparent if you've never done it before is that there's a lot of waiting. You sit and you look and you wait. And that's what we did for a couple hours.
Yeah, that was so much brighter.
Finally, at the end of the night, I got a chance to take a shot. This next hunt was more about getting some information from an old timer named Lonnie. He has a farm north of Houston, was kind enough to give us a little tour of the farm, show us what was happening, and tell us some of his history.
When was it that the hogs became a problem here? Or have they always been a problem?
They've been here for 25, 30 years now.
Okay.
Really bad. They worse now than
Yeah.
they've ever been. When they first got in here, they had a market for them. My son was young. He started trapping. He sold 25,000 worth of hogs one year.
Oh, wow. Do you still try to sell the hogs?
Yeah, he sold about $700-800 worth last week.
wow.
He got traps everywhere. His wife and her daddy got a whole lot of property inside of Caldwell. And we had to go around all this here. Hogs just got it all tore up down here. The people don't. And you got people, the guy got on Harvey the other day about killing the hogs and the coyotes and everything. We got a calf over here, his legs just tore all up from coyote. And see how rough it is here? They get in here and just run it. And then we got people trying to protect the wild hogs. I don't know what you're thinking about.
No.
They got in up further here year before last, and really did. The storm did a number on my barn too. The dogs is the only thing them hogs fear. They don't fear nobody else. Don't fear nothing else. But those dogs, they scared the dogs. That boy of mine had some of the best hog dogs. He hunted all the time. If we'd had wild hogs when I was a kid, I'd have had a field day. There's 8 of us kids. It's 4 boys, 4 girls.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I tell my grandkids, we grew up, we didn't have no electricity and running water till I was 12 years old.
Wow.
Electricity, everything was a fireplace and wood stove.
Right.
And we raised everything we ate. I'm gonna tell y'all about Harvey. He came here and he finds a kid that parents can't control him. He gets them out and hunts with them, and he tears them a new one, and he makes Christian out of them. He changes their attitude.
I can
He's
see
done
that.
more for young people here and the whole area.
Lonnie showed us his property, and we saw various areas where the hogs had torn some things up, and he told us some stories about coyotes attacking calves and how much the animals on his property had actually affected his ability to make money and just in general making farming harder. And for an old man, making things harder isn't very appealing. So Lonnie was going to take us to a spot out in the field so we could sit Texas style behind some bales and watch a feeder. They had put some corn into it, and we were going to wait to see if pigs would show up. While we sat there, we ended up seeing a little deer, which was really fun and got us kind of excited. And I had heard the signature sound of a hog feeding and making its way through the forest, which is undescribable outside of the fact that it just sounds like a pig snorting and walking around. So we could hear it moving around, but in the end, it was just a really nice time sitting, staring off into the distance and considering all of the things that we were seeing. Having some time to sit and think and ponder what this was all about was really helpful, actually. And Lonnie's experience in all of this was paramount to us understanding the culture that we were trying to investigate and document for you all to see. You know, when we were walking out and I saw all those tracks, I was getting excited. That's how it goes, though. Yeah. Next, Lonnie tells us about a man who came from New Mexico to pick up some hogs to bring back home with him.
So he had a camper shell on his truck. So the guy that hunted with us, they built him a cage inside that truck. He carried it back to New Mexico full of hogs.
Really?
Turned them out up in the mountain. They say it wasn't very long he had hogs there for him.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
They came out with poison to kill the hogs, but then it would kill the wildlife and everything else.
Right.
So I said, no, that ain't gonna work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You take one of those little gilts, she won't be 6 months old, and she'll be full of pigs. And then have,
Really?
6 to 10, 12 pigs, and they get like, might say 2.5 liters a year.
Right.
One of Kevin's, my son's buddy, told him the other day he counted over 100 in one bunch at his place.
Over 100?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They claim they put a transmitter on a boar one night, and he went 22 miles. So,
Man.
highway up here, where the guy had them hogs come in his place.
Oh, the guy who's got him in his barn?
Yeah. There was a whole bunch of them there yesterday. My wife and I went to town, and we went to Brian, and we come back and said, them caves out there. I said, no, the hogs. No, they caves that they weren't. They were hogs.
Every time we speak to somebody new, this story gets more complex. Lonnie was telling us about some of his neighbors who came from the city and thought that they should protect some wild hogs and keep them on their farm property. Since one neighbor is keeping the hogs and the other is trying to trap them, the hogs naturally go to where it's safe. But that doesn't mean that they stay there all the time. There's no high fences, so they're freely able to travel between the two places and tear up all of Lonnie's property.
Thank you again for taking us out.
Oh man, that's good. We're going anyway, so y'all might as well go with us. Look over to your right and see if them hogs are out there. There's some. There's two of them back there.
In the back. There's about 6 of them on the
Yeah, there they are.
Yep.
Did you see them?
Yep.
Look down inside those trees, see if you see any. Yeah, we'll find them. They're in there somewhere. Okay. Time to get some more clothes on.
Seeing the way that these people hunt pigs with dogs is like landing on the moon or something. It's completely different from anything else I'd ever seen. There's all these straps and collars for the dogs to keep them safe and to know where they're at. They use GPS units with these long antennas, and the side-by-sides that most people in Iowa would use for just running around and having a good time or hauling some hay around a field get used as a tool to find these animals, and it is an exhilarating experience. Most of the dogs that we have as pets started off as hunting animals. They were bred for a purpose, and these dogs are no different. They have incredible noses and are extremely strong and able to run for miles in an evening and track an animal down, and they are so excited to do this job. When you look at them in these cages, I know it's kind of different for some people, but they're all ready to do something that they were actually truly born to do. So if you've ever been around a working dog or a dog that's been bred for a specific activity, you can really see when they're doing what they were bred to do, how happy they are and how amazing the experience is for them. It's like they're fulfilling their destiny on a certain level.
what is this place?
This is what they call the. Hang on just a minute. I'll tell you what it is. The Doonan Ranch. Doonan Ranch is where we are. We're in Caldwell, Texas. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hunt. This is the Doonan Ranch, and it joins what they call the Hope Ranch, and we hunt both places. And so we're probably looking at I'm going to say somewhere around 2,000 acres.
Okay.
Is where we are. Let the dogs start working here in just a few minutes. Hey, Bane, what we'll do is go and turn around and come back this way. 3 of them together, $3.
I think there's one out here to the left.
Yeah, one of them just went over there.
Yeah, 3 of them together. 4 of them. There's 4 of them there. One of them took off that way. $5 of them. There's $5. That's crazy.
You sure are excitable.
I love hunting. Everybody got lead ropes? Here's the hobbles. See, Billy, here's those hobbles.
Next, you see them grabbing the leashes for the dogs. At certain points, the dogs will either get tired and they'll get bored and they won't be hunting anymore. So they grab the leashes to either grab the dogs to get them in the trucks, or if there's a situation where they do get a hog and you need to control the dogs, it's essential to have these leashes.
Look right there. That's a big hog. Watch Ruger. Watch him. He's fixing it. Ooh, I smell him. You smell him?
Yep.
You can smell him. Smell him. I smell him right here.
There's a big hog right here.
That's a big hog. Yeah.
Dude, I bet he'll go. He's ready
Oh, I know he'll go, but he don't know what he's doing.
You see a pig come
He'll
running
be
across
lost.
the field with
Look at
that
him.
dog.
He wants to go. Let him out.
Yeah, right.
Look across that field.
That's right. Where's he going? No, he ain't chasing no deer. Oh yeah, he's
There goes
284.
lady running after something. Hey, you better holler at her.
Who?
Lady.
Where's she at?
She's going towards them deer.
They're moving. Smell them hogs, huh? We're right down window. Look, look. He heard something.
There he is right there. Going left, moving this way.
Mine's moving like this. 522 northwest. Okay.
Yeah, they're barking. Let's move up, y'all.
Yeah, he's just a fucking.
Let's move up,
He
y'all.
got out of the fence. They just started
Stay cool for a minute.
We got to the first place where the dogs had seemed to have been stopping to wait and check the GPS units and figure out exactly what was the next step. We would do this over and over throughout the night.
Mine's 408. Right there.
Oh.
Finding a place to stop. Look at the GPS. See which way the dogs had turned.
He's looking. How far from the railroad track?
That's where he's headed.
Y'all give them time. We'll catch some hogs. Give them a little time. They'll be fine.
How do you know when they're on something?
You'll hear him bark.
This big white dog of mine, he doesn't bark on the track, so you have to wait till he bays before you hear him. But you just kind of watch the track on the system, and whenever he stops, it's going to show me that he stopped.
Whenever they get the pig actually stuck in one spot.
They're just barking at the pig. They're baying
They're
him, like holding him in an
spot.
area until we can get close enough to send one of these bulldogs, and they'll go in and catch the hog, and then we'll go in there and grab him.
So the smaller dogs are out finding him, and then the bulldogs are the muscle.
Yeah, the small dogs will stop
These
him.
dogs
He
are
can
trained
stop
to
in
catch
one
the hog
spot.
by the ear.
Where's Ruger at?
Down there.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
going to send these dogs yonder way up that creek.
I got 450 right there.
Hunting like this is kind of a slow build. There's moments when it gets really exciting really fast. And then you sit and wait and look and pay attention to what's happening. And that's what this next hour and a half was just stop and go
Like, where are they?
and listen. And this is where you started to see the group dynamics develop. There was Harvey who was in charge,
Bang.
and the other younger hunter,
They
Bane.
got it all tore up of it.
They all have
Yes.
dogs, so they're looking at their GPS units. And everybody else is helping opening gates and getting the dogs into position and running support for the whole operation.
837.
Later on, when we actually find a hog, you'll see why so many people are necessary. But part of the whole thing is that it's a group experience, and something that Harvey does is outreach with some of these youth and help them get some structure in their life and give them an activity that's fun, that is not illegal, and that helps them have some sort of direction in life. And even though hunting isn't necessarily a career for everybody, having the structure of these group dynamics really helps these kids. They have a sense of place and they belong somewhere. And that is, as a young person, one of the best gifts that anybody can give you.
Yeah, hear him? Yo, 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 yo. He's bayed. Go around this gate over here. Okay, the best thing for us to do is go around 316. That's the best thing for us to do. Because they're going to catch him.
Every time you stop, it almost feels like some false alarm had happened. When you have to stop and look and check, and everyone's been excited, but soon enough, though, we'd see some success.
Yeah. You want to put her up?
No, let her run. Let her run. There he is. Listen. I'm gonna bait that hog in here. Watch. Guys, listen. They got the hog caught.
Okay. Thanks for getting it. I'm not gonna lie that going into the woods just then through all this thick Texas underbrush that I hadn't even walked through during the daytime, at night, following just the sounds of dogs and a wild pig,
Yes, sir, they're here. You can drive back in here.
it was a little bit scary. Oh, it's a little one. But the thing is, these guys do this every day. They go out almost every single night and they chase down these pigs, so they knew what they were doing. Eventually we got the pig back to the farm so it could be butchered and so we could use all of the meat from this animal. We took the pig back to the farm to be butchered as a group because this pig was to be eaten, every part was to be used.
Oh yeah.
When I look back at this whole experience, and when I think about the way that all of these people hunt together and the way that they're approaching an invasive species and creating something new out of a bad experience, it reflects a certain human desire to make the best of everything that we have going on around us. When we look towards each other and we find ways to make the best of things, sometimes land on some of the best solutions. It may not always make sense, but we find a way. I know that some people don't think that the hunting is the best way to approach managing the wild hogs, and I can totally see that perspective. But I can also see why people like this would have a hard time if this culture went away.
We don't need to stop now.
And that's sometimes the way you have to think about hunters and hunting. It's not just about going out and shooting off a gun or something. It's about building community, and it's about experiences, and it's about being outside. Something that humans have been doing for generations and for centuries. It was the way that we are wired. It's the way that we survived through so many periods throughout human existence. So the draw of it makes total sense. I may not have the perfect solution for you or tell you exactly how to think about this, but what I do know is that I have new respect for people that I maybe wouldn't have understood 6 months ago. And before reacting to any of this, I definitely implore you to maybe think about it and talk to some people who live outside your world and figure out what this all means.